Hello everyone. Today we will follow an emotional story, full of humanity and the strength to live the story of a single mother named Tieu Huyen, her 3-year-old daughter Maya, and their loyal disabled dog, Bibi. Tieu Huyen once had a simple, happy home with her husband and child. But after an unexpected tragedy, she became a single mother. Huyen had no house, no valuable belongings, except for a makeshift pigsty where she and her daughter now lived. Life had already been hard, but it became even more desperate when the landowner announced he would reclaim the land in just a few days. That morning, before dawn had fully broken, Huyen woke up very early, as she did every day. Weak sunlight filtered through the old tarpaulin, casting a worried look across her face. Curled up in the corner of the pigsty, Huyen opened her small, worn wallet, counting and recounting the meager amount of money inside. Each thin bill seemed as fragile as her hopes at that moment. She sighed, "How can I possibly rent even a small piece of land to shelter my child and me in these difficult times?" Suddenly, a glimmer of hope flashed in her mind. She recalled the previous day when she had helped Uncle Tieu, a kind-hearted cattle herder. Seeing her dire situation, Uncle Tieu had offered to let her and her daughter temporarily stay on an empty plot of land next to his house. Though the offer was not yet certain, to Huyen, it was the most precious lifeline she had. As the first rays of sunlight streamed through the roof of the pigsty, little Maya stirred and opened her big, sparkling eyes. Huyen smiled gently, trying to hide her worries. She took out the pot of rice she had cooked earlier and scooped 2 bowls of plain white rice. There were no vegetables, no meat, just rice, but the mother and daughter still ate happily. For Maya, any meal was a joy, as long as her mother was there. Bibi sat quietly nearby, waiting patiently for the small portion of food Huyen always saved for him each day. Despite their hardships, she had never forgotten to care for her loyal companion. Just then, from the village road, Uncle Tieu appeared with his 2 old buffaloes, as usual, his face kind and his voice warm. Huyen quickly tidied up the dishes, packed their few belongings, carried Maya, and led Bibi outside. She knew this could be the opportunity for her and her daughter to find a safe temporary shelter. Huyen quickly invited Uncle Tieu inside and poured him a bowl of water. After resting for a moment, Uncle Tieu offered to take her and Maya to see the land. They followed a narrow path that wound toward a stream, weaving through clusters of old bamboo. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, sparkling on the early morning dewdrops. After walking for about 15 minutes and passing a few bends, they finally arrived. Before them lay a small, flat piece of land. The grass and plants were overgrown, but the ground was firm, with a few ancient trees casting wide, cool shade. Pointing to the land, Uncle Tieu explained, "This land belongs to me. It's been unused for a while. If you're willing to clear it and put up a shelter or a small tent, it'll be just fine. The stream nearby provides fresh water, and it's very peaceful here." Huyen's eyes lit up, and a sense of relief washed over her. The heavy burden she had been carrying seemed to lift, if only a little. "Thank you so much, Uncle," she said gratefully. Uncle Tieu chuckled kindly. "I know your situation. I'll help however I can. But first, let me show you the stream. The water here is fresh and cool all year round." He then led Huyen to a small stream about 100 meters from the plot of land. The path to the stream was a simple foot trail. With a bit of clearing, it would be easy to walk. When they arrived, a crystal clear stream came into view, winding gently between green, grassy banks. The sound of the bubbling water and the cool breeze carrying a light mist filled Huyen's heart with peace. Maya squealed excitedly, "Mommy, the water is so cool. I love this place." Watching her daughter play happily by the stream, Huyen couldn't hold back her emotions. She thought to herself, "At last, we found a place to stay. Thank heaven, and thank the kindness of Uncle Tu." After chatting for a while and giving her some helpful advice, Uncle Tu said, "Well, I need to get back to tending the buffaloes. Take your time looking around. When you're ready to move in, let me know. I'll come lend a hand." Huyen bowed her head in gratitude. "Thank you so much, Uncle. You've been so kind to us." Uncle Tu waved it off with a gentle smile. "It's nothing, dear. Helping each other in hard times, that's what matters." With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Huyen, Maya, and Bibi at their new plot of land. Huyen stood quietly for a moment, taking in the surroundings. Though the place was still wild and untouched, it filled her with hope for a new beginning. The land was small, but it was peaceful, with a stream and the cool shade of trees more than enough for her and her daughter after such uncertain days. At that very moment, there was a kind-hearted man named Ji, who had quietly been helping Huyen and her daughter all this time. Ji was neither wealthy nor an old friend, but ever since he learned about Huyen's situation, he had shown genuine care for the mother and child. There were times when Huyen was struggling the most that he offered them small yet heartwarming acts of kindness. However, because of his persistent kindness, Huyen began to feel a sense of unease. She knew that Ji had feelings for her and her daughter, and she also understood that he was sincere. Yet out of pride and her desire to be independent, Huyen decided not to tell Ji about their new place. She thought to herself, "If he knows where we are, he'll keep helping us, and I don't want to rely on anyone. I must take care of my child on my own. I can't keep accepting kindness like this forever." For that reason, when she moved to the small plot of land near the stream, Huyen didn't say a word to Jay. She hoped that by creating some distance, he would gradually let go of his deep concern for them, so she could rebuild her life on her own. But on the other side, Jay never blamed Huyen. Even though he knew she had her reasons for not telling him, his heart remained full of understanding and empathy. Days passed, and Ji felt increasingly saddened. Every day as he passed the road where they used to live, the emptiness left him with a deep ache in his heart. Yet this sadness never turned into resentment. Not once did Jia feel angry with Huyen. On the contrary, his concern for the mother and child only grew stronger. He often wondered where they were now, how they were living, whether they were safe and well. And so, from that day forward, Jay quietly began searching for them. He didn't mind the sun or the rain, nor did he care whether it was day or night. On sunny days, he would wear a hat and ride his bicycle across the village paths, asking every familiar face and every street vendor at the market. On rainy days, he would don a raincoat and persistently search every little corner that might be their new shelter. The next morning, before dawn had even broken, and a thin mist still blanketed the hills, Tieu Huyen was already awake. She quietly sat up in her simple old shelter. A new day had begun, but today was a special day. Huyen had an important task ahead. She needed to go to the plot of land that Uncle Tu had shown her the other day, to clear it and prepare to build a new home for herself, her daughter, and their little dog, Bibi. Glancing beside her, she saw Maya still fast asleep, her rosy cheeks glowing softly in the chilly morning mist. Smiling affectionately, Huyen gently shook her daughter awake. Maya rubbed her sleepy eyes, then sat up and snuggled into her mother's arms. Huyen then called out to Bibi, her loyal little dog. Bibi quickly trotted over, tail wagging with joy. Crouching down, Huyen lovingly stroked his soft fur. Good Bibi, today you'll come with Mommy and Sister Maya to our new land, okay? After getting ready, Huyen slung her familiar woven basket over her shoulder, held Maya's hand, and let Bibi trot along beside them. The three of them set off down the narrow dirt path toward the empty plot of land. The path was not easy. It wound through dense forest, with some parts still muddy from recent rains. But Huyen was undeterred. Every step she took carried hope for a fresh start. Maya clutched her mother's hand tightly, occasionally asking in her innocent voice, "Mommy, are we there yet?" Smiling, Huyen gently stroked her daughter's head. "Almost, my love. In just a little while, we'll have a beautiful new place to live." And so, the three of them quietly continued along the path. The cheerful chirping of birds echoed through the forest, as if encouraging their steps. After a long walk, the empty plot finally came into view. It was still wild and overgrown, but to Huyen, this was the place where she would rebuild their life. Upon arriving, the first thing Huyen did was spread out a small mat on the ground so that Maya and Bibi could sit and rest. She spoke softly. "Maya, sit here and play with Bibi, okay? Mommy will start clearing the land." Obediently, Maya nodded and sat on the mat with Bibi, her eyes watching her mother attentively. Huyen carefully set down her basket and took out a sharp knife she had bought at the market a few days earlier. It was an essential tool for clearing the land. Without hesitation, she began her work. Her hands moved swiftly, cutting tall grass and chopping away dead branches that blocked the path. Sweat quickly soaked through her shirt, but she did not stop. She thought to herself, "I must clear as much as I can today. Tomorrow, I'll build a shelter to protect my child from the sun and rain." The rhythmic sound of the knife echoed through the quiet air. After a long stretch of hard work, the plot was much clearer. The thick overgrowth was gone, leaving behind a smooth, clean surface, ready for the construction of their new home. Looking at the result of her efforts, Huyen let out a quiet sigh of relief. But the work wasn't done yet. Now it was time for her to cross the forest, beyond the stream, to collect bamboo for building their home. Huyen instructed Maya and Bibi to sit quietly on the mat and wait for her. Maya nodded obediently. Huyen turned and made her way across the small stream, The cool water bubbled gently beneath her feet. She stepped carefully, mindful of the slippery rocks. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, Huyen began searching for strong, sturdy bamboo. She chose carefully the bamboo would serve as the main framework for their little house. After some time inspecting the grove, she found several tall, straight bamboo stalks. Gripping her knife, Huyen took a deep breath and began cutting. 1 stalk, 2 stalks, 3 stalks. Each thick bamboo stem fell with her strong, deliberate strokes. Once she had finished cutting, Huyen used all her strength to drag the bamboo down to the stream. She chose to let the bamboo float downstream toward the clearing, a method that saved both time and effort. Standing by the water's edge, she skillfully guided each bamboo stalk into the stream, watching them bob and drift with the current. When the bamboo had gathered near the clearing, she followed the stream's edge and pulled them ashore. At last, after a long, tireless morning of work, Huyen had collected enough bamboo for her dream home. Looking at the pile of bamboo, now resting beside the plot of land, her heart brimmed with hope. By now, the sky had begun to darken. The last light of sunset faded behind the distant mountains. Birds chirped and called to one another as they returned to their nests. Knowing there was no time to continue, Huyen decided to pack up and take Maya and Bibi home for the night. Maya cheerfully held her mother's hand, and Bibi trotted playfully alongside them. As they walked back, Huyen's heart was full of hope. After so many lonely days, she had finally secured a piece of land where she could build a home, a chance to give her daughter a proper shelter once more. Yet, her thoughts drifted to Day. Would he find this place? Would he once again try to help her and her daughter? That question lingered in her mind the entire walk home.
Bữa trao nắng, chỗ nghỉ tạm, lời tấm lòng ấm áp của một người xa lạ khiến Diệu Hân cảm thấy như vừa đi qua một cơn giông. Đêm ấy, khi cả thành phố đã chìm vào giấc ngủ, Diệu Hân vẫn thao thức trong bóng tối. Dịu nhẹ của căn phòng nhỏ, tiếng thở đều đều của Tôm bên cạnh là thứ duy nhất khiến cô cảm thấy yên lòng. Không phải giấc mơ, không phải điều gì quá lớn lao, chỉ là một mái nhà tạm, một chén cháo nóng và một người phụ nữ xa lạ đã nổ lòng trong lúc cô yếu đuối nhất. Vậy thôi mà đã đủ khiến tim Hân ấm lên. Và rồi cô nhắm mắt, ôm con thật chặt. Cuộc hành trình vẫn chưa kết thúc, nhưng Diệu Hân biết ngày mai khi ánh nắng chiếu qua ô cửa sổ kia, cô sẽ lại tiếp tục, sẽ lại đứng dậy và đi, dù có bao nhiêu năm phía trước. Vì hơn ai hết, cô hiểu không ai có thể sống mãi trong quá khứ, nhưng ai cũng xứng đáng có một cơ hội để đi tìm tương lai của mình. Liệu cô có thể tìm thấy cha mẹ ruột của mình không? Cùng chờ đón phần tiếp theo nhé!